So, I wanted to talk a little bit about energy and frequency. I've done 10 years of therapy and healing work and shadow work on myself. So, I'm a long ways from where I used to be. I used to be like clinically depressed, couldn't get out of bed for years, and had generalized anxiety disorder. My nervous system was a complete wreck all the time. My PTSD was in overdrive, just constantly thinking of the worst case scenarios that at times weren't even realistic scenarios, but they were the worst case scenarios in my head. And I believed them to be a possibility of coming true. So I did a lot of trauma therapy. And in doing that trauma therapy, I learned to rewire my brain from a negative victim mindset to a positive, more loving mindset. That took a year of steady devotion to changing my thoughts immediately. So whenever I had a negative mindset or a negative voice that I grew up hearing in my childhood, those repeated thought patterns, every time they would pop into my head, I would have to flip them around into a positive thought pattern. And when I first started out, it was very hard to do that. And took about a year of just steadily focusing, even maybe hyper focusing on changing that mindset until I reversed the polarity of my mind to always operate in the mindset of positivity and gratitude and love instead of negativity, self-doubt, low self-worth, those types of thoughts. And in doing that, I did a lot of shadow work. When you are raised by two narcissistic parents, you unintentionally can acquire narcissistic traits. And just because you acquire narcissistic traits does not automatically mean that you yourself are a narcissist. It's just coping skills that you grew up using because those were the only things that you saw being used around you. So I had to do a lot of shadow work to kind of fix those negative things about myself. And in doing that, you raise the frequency and the energy of your body. And you become a high frequency individual. And when you get around other people who are in a lower frequency than you, doesn't mean that they're bad. They're just not at the level that you're at. We're all at different frequency levels in our healing and in our growth. But if you know how to hold your frequency, then typically what happens is that when you encounter a lower frequency individual, their energy needs to rise up to meet yours. So they tend to mimic what you do, and sometimes they could be mimicking what you do because they like what you do and they want to become more like you. And there's nothing wrong with that. But from a narcissistic point of view, a narcissist will mimic everything that you do as a mask. That's stage 1. Stage 2 then begins the love bombing stage. And they don't have any interest in like spirituality. They don't have any interest in soul growth. They don't have a soul. So there is no possibility for them to grow as an individual. They're forever stuck in that narcissistic mindset. Less than 5% of narcissists will actually admit that they're a narcissist and will get therapy for it. but that's a very low percentage rate. And if you get around individuals that you notice are mimicking you for the sole purpose of trying to get access to you, most likely they are, what's the word that I want here? They are displaying a narcissistic pattern. So that can kind of be like your first red flag to look out for. I'm not perfect. I'm still healing. I'll forever be healing. I'll forever be growing. That's the whole point of the human experience, is to constantly be on that greater stage of evolution for your own soul's growth. And I attract a lot of narcissists because that's all I've ever known my whole life. And I tend to ignore all the red flags and just jump right in. And now that I've been single for 8 months, I'm learning to sort of step back and look at my surroundings a lot more closely, pay greater attention to the small details, not just jump in right away into a friendship, definitely not a relationship. I'm not ready for a relationship, I don't think, I'm really enjoying my time being single, because I like my peace a lot, and I fought so hard to get to a place where I have complete peace and I have complete harmony within my body. I have a relaxed nervous system. I'm no longer clinically depressed. I'm no longer suffering with generalized anxiety disorder. I have PTSD, but I'm no longer cycling through those worst case scenarios that happen with the PTSD flashbacks. My PTSD is something that I can never completely heal, and because it happened when I was 1.5 years old, it happened before my brain was fully developed. So I will always dissociate, and there's nothing that I can do to make that situation less. It's like an automatic trigger that just happens in my mind, and it happens pretty frequently. About every 30 seconds to a minute, I'll dissociate. And it's been that way my whole life, so to me this is normal. But to others that are around me, this can be alarming, because I'll completely check out of a conversation. Or what tends to happen, because I have multiple personality disorder, is you'll be talking to me and I dissociate, and you don't know that I've dissociated, and another personality will continue the conversation with you, but I don't know what that other personality is talking to you about because I black out when they front. So I don't know, makes life exciting. But yeah, I'm learning to just kind of sit back, relax, enjoy life, take it one day at a time, and just really learn to use all the coping mechanisms that I learned throughout my years in therapy, and to take people at face value and not... I always automatically see people as their highest selves, their highest potential that they could reach, and instead of pedestalizing people onto this higher self, learn to take them for exactly the stage that they are at, and not jump into situations where people are only mimicking my energy and mimicking my likes and my beliefs just because they want to gain access to me, to manipulate me, to use me. And life is so much more peaceful now, that I'm not trying to be included in all of these social circles, and I'm not trying to run my social battery completely empty just because I feel the need to be seen by other people and doing the most for everyone when they do the bare minimum for me. So, yeah, it's a chill day. Just my thoughts.